This week, we begin a special 5-part series on the classic Universal monster movies as entrees to compliance. The compliance tip of the day. This is the podcast where we bring you daily insights and practical advice on navigating the ever-evolving landscape of compliance requirements. Whether you're a seasoned compliance professional or just starting your journey, my aim in this podcast is to provide you with a bite-sized, actionable tip to help you stay on top of your compliance game. And now I'd like to say a few words about the latest podcast on the Compliance Podcast Network, AI Today in 5 with 5. Thrilled to announce the inaugural episode of my latest podcast series, AI Today in 5. I wanted to do a short, curated set of stories and news stories about AI for the compliance professional and the greater business professional. You can check it out on Megaphone, the Compliance Podcast Network, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or Apple, or wherever great podcasts are listened to. Check out AI Today in 5. We conclude our Universal Classic Monster Movie Week by mining compliance lessons from one of the lesser-known monsters, Claude Rains as the Invisible Man. Lesson 1. The lack of transparency can breed misconduct. Griffin's transformation into the Invisible Man immediately removes the ordinary constraints of social behavior. Knowing that others cannot see him becomes bolder, more reckless, and ultimately violent. His invisibility grants him a sense of impunity. 2. Power without accountability is a recipe for abuse. Griffin revels in his power. An invisible man can rule the world. No one can see him come. No one will see him go, he boasts. But stripped of accountability, his brilliance is corrupted. What begins as a scientific achievement devolves into tyranny. Organizations face the same risk when individuals yield unchecked power. 3. Culture determines whether controls work. What makes Griffin's story chilling is not only his invisibility, but how others respond to it. At first they are horrified, but some characters quickly fall into denial, hoping the threat will go away. Others are fascinated, drawn in by his apparent power. Ultimately, fear dominates. No one wants to confront him directly. This dynamic mirrors corporate culture. Even the best designed controls fail if the culture tolerates misconduct, ignores warning signs, or allows fear to silence employees. 4. Risk becomes exponential when innovation outpaces ethics. The core of the Invisible Man is a cautionary tale about innovation. Griffin's formula is groundbreaking, but is developed without ethical considerations. Here, think of AI, risk assessment, or even oversight. His scientific achievement outpaces his moral responsibility, leading to catastrophe. This is the same challenge corporations face today with AI, biotech, or other emerging technologies. Innovation is valuable, but when ethics and compliance lag behind, risks multiply. 5. Crisis preparedness is not negotiable. The climax of the film shows the villagers and the authorities in chaos. They have no plan for dealing with an invisible adversary. Panic ensues. Griffin wreaks havoc until circumstances, not preparation, bring him down. For organizations, this is a vivid illustration of why crisis preparedness matters. Whether it is a corruption investigation, a cyber attack, chaos reigns if companies are unprepared. Claude Rains, the Invisible Man, endures because it speaks to something primal, the fear of what cannot be seen. For compliance professionals, it resonates with many as it shows us what happens when accountability is absent and systems fail to shine light into the shadows. The task of compliance is to make the invisible visible, to protect what others cannot see, to enforce accountability, and to ensure that innovation and power all operate within ethical boundaries. This is not simply a horror movie, but it's a compliance allegory. The real monster is not invisibility, but complacency. I hope you've enjoyed this special 5-part series. I obviously love the classic Universal monsters. I'm doing a full podcast series on each story. I've written a blog on each one. So check those out in the month of October. That said, I'm happy to do for you the compliance profession is if you have a question or a series of questions you would like some compliance tips on, I'm happy to take any requests that you might want, certainly anonymize them, and give you a quick tip, either one quick tip or maybe a week's worth of quick tips. So if you have any tips you want about your compliance program, you can shoot me an email at tfox@tfoxlaw.com. This podcast was created and produced